Cross-legged on the hardwood floor of my parents' living room in Portland, I am enveloped in torn wrapping paper and the artificial aroma of Christmas. My sister Chelsea spins a set of gleaming BMW keys between her manicured fingers, the metal flashing against the twinkling lights of the tree as she dances like a carefree teenager rather than a 32-year-old woman. I am in disbelief. She emits a high-pitched squeal, bouncing on her toes, exclaiming, "My very own Beamer." My father radiates pride as he beams at her, while my mother clasps her hands beneath her chin, appearing to witness a miracle unfold. Parked in the driveway is a glossy white car, a visible emblem of parental devotion, adorned with an oversized red bow that likely cost more than the total expense of my entire Christmas. In contrast, I find myself fixating on the object resting in my lap, a plastic piggy bank designed after a cartoon character from a children's program I outgrew 2.5 decades ago. The price tag, which they neglected to remove, declares a mere $1.99. "Open it," my mother encourages, directing her gesture toward the small rubber stopper at the bottom. My fingers, feeling numb, comply, as 2 crisp $1 bills flutter outward. "This is the initiation of your future home fund, dear," my father announces with a casual wave of his hand, adding, "You have always been so prudent with your finances, in contrast to some individuals." He casts a sidelong wink at Chelsea, who pretends to feign indignation. The silence stretches between us like taffy until my mother interjects. Chelsea requires dependable transportation for her graphic design clients. Those artistic types have certain expectations of imagery, you understand? Chelsea then plops down on the couch next to me, her expensive perfume enveloping my senses. "Do not fret, sister, I will drive you whenever necessary," she assures, patting my knee with condescending gentleness. "Your little Toyota must be on its last legs by now." That same Toyota, which transported me through 7 hours of mountainous roads just yesterday, and which I paid off independently 3 years ago, is indeed still reliable, more so than many relationships present in this room. My breath catches in my throat as 34 years of similar moments crystallize vividly in my mind. This occurrence is not a singular event, it embodies the continuous pattern of my life. Just that morning, I had meticulously wrapped their gifts, a leather briefcase for my father, costing 2 weeks of wages, a silver bracelet that my mother had admired in a Seattle boutique, and a professional camera lens that Chelsea had casually mentioned desiring, all obtained through diligent savings from my paychecks over several months. I had rehearsed my announcement during the drive from Seattle, senior structural engineer. The promotion I secured through countless nights and weekends of additional labor. Executing designs for buildings intended to endure for generations. I imagined their expressions illuminating with pride, finally recognizing me as something more than Chelsea's responsible older sibling. Perhaps this Christmas would finally differ. I had whispered this hope to myself at each rest stop, gas station, and mile marker. My hands tremble as I set the piggy bank on the coffee table, the plastic creating a hollow sound against the glass surface. "Excuse me," I managed to say, my voice sounding alien to me. Bathroom. Ascending the well-known stairs at a brisk pace, I pass the wall adorned with family photos in which Chelsea's face occupies each frame overwhelmingly. The bathroom door closes softly behind me, and I twist the lock. My reflection gazes back, showing eyes too dry and a face overly composed. I press my palms against the cold marble counter, waiting for tears that do not materialize. Instead, the pressure in my chest intensifies, resembling concrete hardening around my lungs. People often discuss heartbreak as if it is a mere concept. It is anything but abstract. I perceive each chamber of my heart constricting painfully, the blood struggling to circulate through narrowing vessels. A deep ache envelopes my sternum, as if pressed upon by a knee. This, I realize, is what it feels like to be dying, not in a dramatic sense, but rather a dimming of existence. The night stretches interminably as I lie awake in my childhood bedroom, listening to Chelsea's laughter from below as she and my parents excitedly plan her inaugural road trip in the new car. At 2:17 a.m., I finally rise. I pack expeditiously, taking only what holds significance: the tattered, plush bear my grandmother gifted me, the photo album from my college years, and a small wooden box containing my first professional blueprint. The costly gifts I had provided them over the years remain precisely where they are. They were never about gratitude, after all. The house is hushed as I descend the stairs with my suitcase in tow. I clutch my house key, feeling its chill momentarily before I place it on the kitchen counter beside the coffee maker, which will brew in 3 hours. They have rendered their choice. Now, I am making mine. Streetlights transform into blurred halos as I navigate deserted highways. The dashboard clock displays 3:42 a.m., Christmas morning. My windshield wipers struggle against the thickening snow while Bing Crosby serenades listeners with White Christmases. I turn the volume knob until his voice quiets into silence. "Have yourself a merry little Christmas," I whisper to the vacant passenger seat, my voice faltering on the word merry. The irony resonates within me, sharp and burning. As I traverse the southern periphery of Portland, the heating system in my Toyota struggles to combat the December cold. This vehicle, now 7 years old with a mileage of 200,000, has been my companion throughout college, my initial jobs, and the subsequent promotions. It has never faltered in challenging terrains or confined parking scenarios. In contrast to the glossy BMW adorned with an extravagant red bow parked in my parents' driveway, my car has rightfully earned its place in my life. Around 6 o'clock, my phone vibrates against the center console, and I look down to see my mother's image illuminating the screen. Her message is neither an inquiry about my safety nor a request for my return, but rather, she queries, "Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before departing Seattle?" This cabin, purchased for leisurely weekend retreats, has become the backdrop for Chelsea's Instagram photo shoots. A passing semi-truck sprays slush across my windshield, rendering my view obscured for a chilling 3 seconds until the wipers create a small clear patch. My hands tremble on the steering wheel, overwhelmed by a tidal wave of memories that rush in faster than the wipers can clear. I recall my 5th birthday celebration, a lavish princess party complete with professional decorations, pony rides, and a formidable 3-tier cake for 30 children in party hats. The subsequent year's celebration was markedly less grand, featuring a grocery store sheet cake, 2 kindergarten friends, and party supplies procured from the dollar store. My father had explained, "Your sister needs the social stimulation," when I inquired about the disparity. Their word for this was independent, a euphemism for "you do not require our presence." My high school graduation saw me as valedictorian, delivering a thoughtfully prepared speech about perseverance and aspirations, while the family section remained half empty as Chelsea's junior varsity soccer team had an away game. "We will watch the recording," my mother had assured me. The unwrapped VHS tape remained on my dresser until I left for college. "Your sister needs the encouragement," she stated. "You have always succeeded without our assistance." In their view, it seemed I was devoid of aid. As I drive, highway signs sequentially indicate the miles to the California border, and my college years flash before me, working 25 hours weekly at both the campus bookstore and cafeteria, managing maximum course loads to graduate ahead of schedule, and stretching student loans and scholarships while Chelsea indulged in artistic explorations across Europe funded by my parents. "Your sister needs to find herself," my father asserted during one of our infrequent phone conversations. "You have always had a clear sense of self," he remarked, which I interpreted as, "You are undeserving of exploration." My phone buzzes again, this time displaying my father's number. I allow it to ring until it diverts to voicemail. As dawn's first light brightens the eastern horizon, tears blur the oncoming headlights into golden streaks. I pull over to the roadside, activating my hazard lights, and rest my forehead against the steering wheel. The patterns crystallize with sudden lucidity, my father exerting financial control while allocating resources to Chelsea's every desire, and my mother manipulating emotions to instill guilt in me for seeking even minimal attention. Their strategy is flawless, one parent exercising financial favoritism while the other maintains emotional dominance. My phone rings once more, but it is not family this time. It is Monica Perez, my college roommate turned lifelong confidant. Where are you? Her concerned, warm voice resonates through the Bluetooth speaker. Somewhere in southern Oregon, I respond, my voice sounding hollow and unfamiliar. Heading south. To where, she inquires. I do not know. A brief silence ensues, then she suggests, come to San Francisco. Stay with me. Family does not treat family in such a manner. Monica understands. She has witnessed the reality firsthand during our college days. The packages arriving for me containing only practical essentials while Chelsea received designer outfits. The holiday breaks I spent in dormitories due to the prohibitive cost of flights home, during which my parents took Chelsea to Aspen and Maui. I cannot impose, I insist. Stop, she states firmly. You have devoted your entire life to aiding others. Let someone assist you for once. Her words break through a barrier within me. Help, a seemingly simple concept yet one that has been foreign to my experiences. In my family, assistance flows exclusively toward Chelsea, toward my parents, and never toward me. Okay, I whisper, astonished by my own compliance. Text me your location every hour. Drive safely. I will prepare the guest room. The call concludes. I merge back onto the highway, the wipers clearing away the fresh snow. For the first time since departing Portland, my shoulders relax slightly from their defensive state. By 7:30 a.m., I cross into California. The welcome sign shines in the morning light. I observe 17 missed calls and 32 text messages on my phone screen. With deliberate movements, I disable notifications from my mother, father, and Chelsea. The ensuing silence feels more burdensome than any accusation. My stomach growls, a reminder of my lack of nourishment since the previous day's Christmas Eve dinner. A quaint roadside diner emerges ahead, its neon open sign shining like a beacon in the daylight. I navigate into the nearly vacant parking lot. Inside, warmth envelopes me like a comforting embrace, filled with the aroma of coffee and the sounds of breakfast sizzling on a distant grill. An older waitress with silver-streaked hair approaches me, coffee pot in hand. Struggling with a challenging night, she inquires as she fills a mug without pausing for my reply. Her name tag identifies her as Gloria. Difficult life, I whisper, instantly regretting the dramatic tone. Gloria remains unaffected. Sweetheart, I have been serving coffee for 40 years. I can recognize heartbreak when it presents itself. Is it family or a partner? Family, I answer. She acknowledges my response with a nod, sliding a menu towards me. Blood relations tie you, but love and respect create a family. Her time-worn hand lightly touches mine. The special is excellent today. It includes extra bacon. I make my order for the special and embrace the warmth of the coffee mug. Gloria's words resonate as I observe the snowflakes melting against the window. Blood relates you, love and respect constitute family. For 34 years, I have been associated with the Collins family. Perhaps it is time to discover what truly belonging to a family entails. 3 weeks later, I find myself with a friend in San Francisco. My phone vibrates against the nightstand for the 13th time that morning, my father's number, once again. I count to 10 before silencing it, adding his call to the growing collection of voicemails that I refuse to listen to again. In the initial week, their messages were filled with confusion. The second week brought forth concern, and by the third week, they have morphed into something more sinister, manipulation cloaked in parental authority. Iris Elizabeth Collins, my father's latest voicemail booms through the speaker when I finally check it. If you do not return this car immediately, I will report it as stolen. This childish behavior must cease at once. The Toyota. My Toyota. The one bearing my name on the title and 7 years' worth of paid receipts. I clutch the throw pillow to my stomach, forcing down the bitterness rising in my throat. Following this, my mother's message comes through. The doctor has informed me that my blood pressure is alarmingly high due to the stress you are causing. Is this your desire? That I end up hospitalized because of your selfishness? I delete both messages without replying, my finger lingering over the screen longer than I would prefer to admit. My temporary refuge in Monica's spare bedroom feels both strange and familiar. The walls are painted in a soft terracotta hue that bathes the space in the morning light, providing warmth in ways my Seattle apartment never could. On the dresser, my laptop displays an email that I have rewritten 14 times. Dear Mr. Sanderson. Dear Mr. Sanderson. I am formally requesting a transfer to the San Francisco office, effective immediately. In a moment of impulse, I click send before I can second-guess myself. No family ties. No favors solicited. Merely my professional record. My reputation. My value as an structural engineer. 3 hours later, I receive the approval in my inbox. Just like that. As though I have always possessed the ability to forge my own way. Did you get it? Monica appears in the doorway, interpreting my expression. Her dark curls frame a face that radiates genuine joy for my achievement, a concept that still feels foreign to me, someone celebrating my successes without trying to make them about themselves. I start on Monday, I confirm. Now I simply need to find a place. I start on Monday. Monica beams. I have already contacted Andrea from Book Club. She manages apartments in the Mission District. It falls under rent control, it is a secure building, and a 20-minute walk to your new office. You did not have to do that, I reply. But I wanted to, she interjects, plopping down onto the bed beside me. Friends assist friends. No strings attached. This is a novel concept for you. I understand, I admit. Her words strike true, no strings, no obligations, no scorekeeping. The tears I have been holding back for 3 weeks threaten to overflow. I have made you an appointment as well, she adds, sliding a business card atop my laptop. Dr. Levine. Tuesday at 4. The card states, Elaine Levine, PhD, Family Therapy. I am not insane, I whisper. No, you are not, Monica concurs. However, you have been shouldering something burdensome for a significant duration. It may be beneficial to place it down in a secure environment. On Tuesday afternoon, the therapist's office has the scent of lemon furniture polish and aged books. Dr. Levine dons reading spectacles on a beaded chain and sensible shoes that produce no sound on the carpet. She does not rush to fill the silences, patiently waiting while I grapple to articulate thoughts that have never been voiced before. Favoritism, I eventually disclose. The term hangs between us like a newly discovered celestial body. And how did that affect you, she inquires. Like I was worth exactly $2, I respond. Later that week, the apartment Andrea introduces me to is modest, 650 square feet, with a kitchenette barely spacious enough for a refrigerator. Nevertheless, the windows face west, capturing the afternoon sun and flooding the hardwood floors with light. By nightfall, it is mine. I purchase a futon, a lamp, and a small desk. Nothing more. The Spartan surroundings feel purposeful rather than impoverished, providing space for growth. The following Saturday, Monica drags me to a community center. Pottery class, she announces. You require something that is neither work nor therapy. I express my reluctance until my hands sink into cool clay, feeling it yield and resist at the same time. The instructor, an elderly woman with silver hair and paint-speckled overalls, stands behind me. Do not compel it, she whispers. Listen to its aspirations for growth. My fingers quiver as they mold something out of nothing. By the conclusion of the class, I have fashioned a modest, irregular bowl with jagged edges. It is both repulsive and exquisite, entirely a product of my own effort. The first video call occurs 4 weeks after Christmas. I respond on the third ring, bracing myself against the familiar tide of guilt elicited by their expressions. Where have you been? Dad inquires immediately, his face filling the screen, flushed with indignation. Your mother has been extremely worried. In the backdrop, Mom discreetly wipes her eyes, maintaining a facade of composure. I am in San Francisco, I reply with equanimity. I have transferred offices. Without prior discussion with us. Mom interrupts, leaning into the frame. How could you show such a lack of consideration? The familiar urge to apologize, soothe, and rectify pulls at my chest. Yet, Dr. Levine's advice reverberates in my mind. Your feelings hold validity. Their responses are theirs to own, not yours. I required space, I assert instead. Space from what? Dad retorts. From family? From obligations? From maturation? From feeling overlooked? Surprised by the steadiness of my tone, I counter, from being valued less than Chelsea? From striving for affection that should have been given freely? Instantly, Mom's tears flow as expected. How could you utter such painful remarks? We have always loved you both equally. I am no longer accountable for your emotions, I respond. These words feel like stones I have long harbored within, finally liberated. I am responsible for my own feelings. Dad strikes the table with his palm. This discussion is finished until you are prepared to apologize. Then it appears we are through communicating, I state and terminate the call. In the days that follow, rumors infiltrate through LinkedIn messages and texts from previous coworkers. According to familial folklore, I have experienced a mental breakdown. I am purportedly living in squalor. I have purportedly joined a cult. Chelsea's Instagram features her appearing concerned in skillfully filtered pictures, accompanied by vague references to familial heartbreak and prayers for those grappling with mental health challenges. My new colleagues remain oblivious to this narrative. They focus solely on my work, the accuracy of my calculations, the creativity in my designs. When Chelsea arrives unannounced at the office reception 10 days later, Monica is delivering lunch. She is in a meeting, Monica states coolly, adding that she will remain occupied for the foreseeable future. My therapy group convenes on Wednesday evenings in a church basement permeated by the aroma of coffee and aged hymnals. 8 strangers connected by shared traumas. Family does not receive a pass simply due to familial ties, asserts Raymond, a 60-year-old accountant who has not communicated with his brother in 20 years. Love devoid of respect is not love, it is possessiveness. Thus, the words settle in my chest like undeniable truth. 6 months following Christmas, my apartment has undergone a transformation. Pottery fills the windowsills, each piece an improvement over the previous. A proper bed has replaced the futon. My promotion to senior project manager came with a salary increase that alleviated any lingering financial concerns. On my bookshelf rests a plastic piggy bank, now filled with crisp $2 bills, one for each week of newfound freedom. Not as retribution, but as a reminder. Sometimes, the most minor betrayals unveil the most profound truths. The initial holiday season approaches with a mix of trepidation and relief. No gifts to purchase that lack appreciation. No performances to uphold. No diminishment to endure. Merely me within a space I have cultivated, evolving into a person I am finally starting to appreciate. Worth considerably more than $2. A month later, the ivory envelope occupies my kitchen counter, resembling a concealed hazard. It has remained untouched for 3 days. An invitation to cousin Vanessa's wedding, my name inscribed in elegant calligraphy, Iris Collins. No +1. Just me, anticipated to return to the family fold unaccompanied. What are your thoughts, Doctor? Winters inquires, her office chair creaking as she leans forward. I trace the armrest's edge, counting the brass tacks meticulously. I am attending. You are, she replies, her eyebrows lifting slightly. That is a departure from last week. On my terms, I quickly add, I have arranged a room at the Hilton, for blocks from the venue. Dad called twice, insisting that I stay at their rental property with everyone. And what did you respond? Nothing, I retort, smiling as I recall the satisfaction of allowing his voicemail to accumulate increasingly frantic messages. The boundary itself conveys the message. 7 months of therapy have conferred upon me the language of self-protection. 7 months since Christmas departed. 7 months dedicated to reconstructing myself through each therapy session, pottery class, and tranquil evening alone. During the session, my phone vibrated. Chelsea. The third message of the day. Cannot wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding chaos. I return the phone to my purse without replying. Dr. Winters observes. Your sister again? Now, it appears you are best friends, she comments. I chuckle, albeit it lacks authenticity. She did not communicate this frequently when we resided in the same city. What do you believe her intentions are? A ride from the airport? Financial assistance? The same old Iris who bore both her emotional burdens along with her luggage. I glide my fingers over the fabric sample resting on my lap, a midnight blue silk selected for the dress I have commissioned. Numerous fittings have been scheduled to ensure it drapes impeccably from my shoulders, accentuating my curves unapologetically. It embodies power, rather than reconciliation. They have enlisted their own minions. I inform Dr. Winters. Uncle Pete reached out last night, emphasizing the necessity of family togetherness. Aunt Judith forwarded an email proclaiming forgiveness as divine. Even Vanessa's fiancé sent a message via Facebook. They are collaborating. And how does this make you feel? Prior to therapy, I would have simply replied fine. Always just fine. Instead, I analyze the physical manifestations of my emotions. The constriction in my throat, the chill of sweat beading along my hairline, the barely perceptible quiver in my fingers. I am terrified, I confess. Yet, I am also prepared. Later that evening, I unfurl the seating chart that Vanessa inadvertently shared in a group email across my kitchen table. There I am positioned, nestled between my parents, facing Chelsea directly. The familial tableau has been restored. I grasp my phone. Vanessa? It is Iris. I have a minor request regarding the seating arrangements. Friday dawns enveloped in San Francisco fog that dissipates as my plane ascends. The clouds begin to part over Oregon, unveiling the landscape from my childhood. My pulse quickens as we begin our approach to Portland. The venue for the rehearsal dinner emanates a golden hue against the twilight sky. I stand on the street, feeling the smooth stone pendant Monica had gifted me before my departure. She had asserted that true strength does not lie in the absence of fear, but in the ability to feel it and proceed regardless. I lift my shoulders and push open the heavy wooden door. Conversation cease mid-sentence. Heads pivot towards me. My mother's hand instinctively moves to her throat. My father's drink is halted midway to his lips. I have transformed. The Iris who fled at Christmas was but a faint shadow. This woman, adorned in tailored black trousers, an emerald silk blouse, and heels that announce every step with authority, is robust and fully present. The diamond studs in my ears reflect the light as I scan the room, nodding in acknowledgement without hastening to engage anyone. Chelsea is the first to approach with arms wide open, yet something is amiss. The designer watch is absent, and the highlights in her hair have faded. Her smile appears forced rather than entitled. You look magnificent, she states as she embraces me briefly. Thank you, I reply, stepping back to maintain our distance. How is the BMW treating you? Her eyes flit away. I had to trade it in. I now drive a Honda. More practical, you understand? Beyond her, I observe my parents huddled with Aunt Martha. My mother dabs at her eyes with a cocktail napkin. My father's shoulders sag in a way I have never witnessed before. Cousin Tara appears beside me, vodka tonic in hand. I am so relieved you are here, she whispers. You cannot fathom the drama since Christmas. Oh, your parents are selling the house. She leans in closer. They attribute it to medical bills, but everyone is aware they have been propping up Chelsea for years. Reality has finally caught up with them. Before I can respond, a waiter approaches with a tray of champagne. I take a glass, observing the bubbles ascend and burst at the surface. Just like the family narratives, what rises inevitably bursts. Uncle Simon comes forward, grasping my free hand. You appear well, Iris. That position in San Francisco must agree with you. I am now the senior project manager, I respond, the phrase still tasting novel upon my lips. His eyes widen in amazement. Is that so? How splendid. Throughout the evening, more relatives circle around me. Cousin Michael confesses he has always been aware of the differential treatment I received. Aunt Martha envelopes me in a too-tight hug, whispering, your father lost his job 3 months ago. Your mother is on anxiety medication. I absorb each revelation with the peculiar detachment one experiences while observing waves suit against a shore from which they have withdrawn to higher ground. During cocktail hour, my father confronts me, bourbon's heavy scent wafting from his breath. Family sticks together, Iris, he declares, his voice bearing the familiar weight of authority, yet something foundational has decayed beneath it. Does it, Dad? I meet his gaze unflinchingly. Or do some family members unite while others are cast aside? His face reddens. We have always supported you. $2 in a piggy bank, I reply, the words softer than I anticipated, yet they strike with accuracy. He opens his mouth, then closes it, before turning away. In the ladies' room, my mother appears beside me at the sink, her eyes brimming with tears. We miss you immensely, she states, reaching for my hand. I continue to wash my hands, the soap slick between my fingers. I miss who I believed you were as well. Back in the main area, Chelsea ushers me onto the terrace. The evening breeze carries the fragrance of roses from the garden below. The BMW has been repossessed, she blurts out. I am drowning in debt, my design clients have dried up, and Dad is no longer able to assist. Her voice trembles. I am uncertain how to navigate this, Iris. I never acquired the skills necessary to be self-reliant. This admission lingers in the air between us. Just 7 months prior, I would have hastily provided solutions, financial assistance, and a shelter. The former Iris would have added this extra weight to her burdens. Instead, I gently rest my hand on her arm. That appears to be exceedingly difficult, Chelsea. I experience empathy devoid of obligation, a differentiation that took months of therapy to master. I am sorry you are enduring this. Her eyes widen slightly at my response, which conveys compassion rather than rescue. I propose assisting with a budget, but I cannot resolve this on your behalf. As I glance over her shoulder, I observe Vanessa radiating joy in her pre-wedding state, flanked by bridesmaids. Tomorrow will present its own set of trials. Yet tonight, as I stand on this terrace, feeling the pressure of familial expectations slide off my shoulders like droplets of water, I come to the realization that fear no longer holds sway over me. I have become the woman who escaped a lifetime of being underestimated, who constructed a life from the ground up. Whatever challenges may arise, I will confront them firmly rooted in my own creation. The following day, I find myself in the bridal suite at the Magnolia Gardens, observing as my cousin Vanessa transforms from a jittery bride into a luminous woman. The morning light streams through tall windows, casting a soft golden hue that feels incongruous with the turmoil simmering inside me. Iris, your parents are searching for you. Aunt Martha whispers, her touch soft against my forearm. They are in the library, and indicated it is vital. I anticipated this moment. It has been 7 months since I departed their home in Portland, leaving only a note and a deep-seated resentment. Thank you, Martha. My voice appears steadier than my feelings. I will seek them after assisting Vanessa with her veil. Martha's expression softens. They mentioned a family emergency prior to the ceremony. Naturally, they did. When I push open the library door 30 minutes later, I feel its weight more than it should possess. My mother sits rigidly in a tall-backed chair, tissues already gripped in her hand. My father paces by the fireplace, his movements sharp and contained. Chelsea stands at the window, adorned in a dress that surpassed my first month's rent in San Francisco, though the repossessed BMW is absent. Iris, thank goodness. My mother stands, arms opened wide. We must discuss matters as a family. I remain in the doorway. The ceremony commences in 40 minutes. Sit down, Iris. My father gestures to the vacant chair arranged to face all three of them. An orchestrated intervention. This can no longer be postponed. I shut the door behind me but do not advance toward the chair. I remain attentive. Chelsea steps forward. Iris, this has persisted beyond reasonable limits. Dad was laid off 3 months ago. The company underwent downsizing. My father quickly interjects, due to budget cuts. My mother has been consulting a therapist for depression, continues Chelsea. This all escalated when you departed at Christmas. My mother dabs at her dry eyes. We are selling the house. The unholy trifecta, a financial crisis, health issues, and guilt consolidated into one tidy bundle. 7 months ago, I would have crumbled under the weight of their expectations, apologized for something for which I was not culpable, and offered assistance. Today, I approach the designated chair, place my purse beside it, and sit upright. I am sorry to learn about your job, Dad. And, Mom, I am pleased you are seeking help. Their expressions reveal bewilderment at my composed reply. Did you not hear what we stated? Chelsea's voice elevates. They are selling the house because of you. No, they are selling the house due to decisions they made long before my departure. I extract a leather-bound photo album from my purse. I brought something to present to you. My mother frowns. We do not have time for, you convened this meeting. I unfold the album in my lap. Thus, we possess time. The first page displays 2 birthday celebrations side by side, Chelsea's extravagant princess-themed party, complete with hired entertainers, contrasted with my gathering that same year featuring a grocery store cake at the kitchen table. Do you recall these? I flip through pages of Christmas mornings, graduations, and family vacations where the favoritism is unmistakable. I invested months compiling evidence of what I always sensed but could not substantiate. My father's face reddens. This is absurd. We consistently treated you girls fairly. I retrieve a folder of bank statements. My student loans total $67,000, which I am still repaying. Chelsea's education was fully financed, inclusive of her year in Europe for artistic inspiration. Chelsea shifts uneasily. That is unjust. You opted for engineering. That was your choice. It was my passion, I correct her. Similar to how art is yours. The distinction lies in the fact that my passion was deemed unworthy of investment. My mother rises, her hands quivering. We could not afford it when you attended college. Situations had changed by the time of Chelsea. I became familiar with your financial records years ago, Mother. I interrupt her. My father's promotion occurred when I was 16. The inheritance from Grandma arrived just before my freshman year. You had the resources. You opted not to allocate those resources toward me. Ah. An uncomfortable silence envelopes the room as I lay out birthday cards that span 3 decades. The sentiments directed to Chelsea overflow with abundant affection. In contrast, my messages are filled with pragmatic counsel and reminders of diligence. We always knew you would be fine, Dad finally admits, his defensive facade beginning to crumble. You were always remarkably capable. There it is, the underlying truth behind years of inequity. Merely being capable does not imply that I deserved less affection. My voice remains composed, even as an emotional weight builds behind my eyes. Shouldering responsibility did not mean I should bear the burdens of others. Mom breaks down into genuine tears, devoid of manipulation. We had no intention to harm you. However, intent does not mitigate impact. I rummage through my purse once more. The plastic piggy bank emits a hollow sound as I place it upon the coffee table between us. Dad gazes at it, bewildered. What is this folly? I extract the rubber stopper. Dozens of crisp $2 bills cascade out, an eye-catching and unconventional form of currency. I explain, I have been saving a $2 bill for every week since Christmas. This is not about finances, it is a reflection of what you deemed my worth. Chelsea picks up one of the bills, examining it closely. I did not realize how it appeared from your perspective. Her voice lacks its previous defensive tone. They never instructed me on how to stand independently. Outside the library, relatives stroll by, their voices filtering through the heavy door. In mere moments, they will convene to celebrate love and commitment while our family grapples with years of its absence. I do not desire apologies, I state, rising to my feet. I seek transformation. I will contemplate reconciliation on 2 conditions: family therapy and an acknowledgement of my boundaries. Dad opens his mouth to respond, but Mom places her hand on his arm, interjecting. We will comply, she asserts, astonishing us all. Whatever measures are necessary. I gather my evidence and the piggy bank but leave its contents on the table. That belongs to you to keep, a reminder of what transpires when one child is valued more than another. As I walk toward the door, I pause with my hand on the knob. I need to take my place for the ceremony. My friend Monica is reserving a spot for me. As I step into the corridor, my posture straight and my heart lighter than it has been in months, I hear Chelsea whisper to our parents, she is different now. She is correct. The person who departed that Christmas morning, burdened solely by grief and resolve, is no longer present. In her stead stands someone who has ultimately realized that her value is not contingent upon others' perceptions of her worth, but by the standards she refuses to accept. On Christmas, sunlight streams across the hardwood floors of my San Francisco apartment as friends gather around a table that is genuinely mine. The aroma of rosemary and sage from the roasting turkey mingles with true laughter, distinctly different from the strained sounds that used to fill my parents' home. To Iris, Monica lifts her glass, her dark curls shimmering in the window's light. Who constructs bridges better than anyone I know, both professionally and personally? My cheeks flush at the toast. 1 year ago today, I placed a house key on a counter and drove away from all that was familiar. Now, I stand in an apartment filled with individuals who choose to be present, surrounded by pottery I crafted with my own hands. And to Senior Project Manager Collins, adds Elliot, whose fingers brush against mine beneath the table, his touch still igniting an electrical current within me, not a fleeting infatuation but a steady rise towards something lasting. Who led the team to finish the Richardson Tower project 2 weeks ahead of schedule? Elliot comprehends deadlines and structural integrity, an environmental engineer who values sustainability in both buildings and relationships. When he first invited me to coffee 6 months prior, I almost declined, as old habits of self-sacrifice lingered stubbornly. My therapist Dr. Winters recognized it as progress when I agreed to meet him. The kitchen timer chimes, sparing me from having to acknowledge their accolades. Some transformations require more time than others. Need assistance? Elliot inquires, following me into the kitchen. I can manage. The words escape my lips reflexively. Then, I remind myself of Dr. Winters' gentle challenge. The piggy bank remains visible through the window, transformed from a symbol of deficiency to one representing the bravery to prioritize self-value. Accepting help does not diminish one's strength. Actually, could you please carve the turkey? I never learned how to do it. My phone vibrates with a video call from Chelsea. Monthly calls are a boundary we established following the wedding confrontation. I accept the call while Elliot expertly handles the carving. Merry Christmas, Chelsea greets, her countenance filling the screen. Her apartment, visible behind her, appears smaller than mine. No designer furnishings or luxury vehicles parked outside. Working 2 jobs has altered her perspective on finances, evident in the shadows beneath her eyes. You appear happy, she observes, her voice softer than it once was. Your home looks lovely. It feels like home. She positions the camera to capture our father in a humble living room, appearing somehow diminished. The attendance at AA meetings is having a positive effect. He exhibits a different demeanor in sobriety. I acknowledge this, though I am not prepared to fully confront the implications of this insight. And what of Mother? She continues to volunteer at the community center. She intended to join the call but was occupied with an emergency food drive. Chelsea hesitates. They inquire about you, albeit in a new manner. We conversed for a few more minutes before taking our leave. The wall clock indicates that it is time for dinner. At my dining table, dialogue flows among Monica, Elliot, and acquaintances from both my engineering firm and pottery class. The porcelain piggy bank on my mantel, now filled with dollar bills representing lessons learned rather than bitterness, goes unmentioned. Following dessert, Chelsea sends a picture of a handmade clay ornament, evidently her initial endeavor in pottery. It may not be aesthetically pleasing, but it is imbued with affection. She plans to mail it tomorrow. Subsequently, another message arrives from my mother. I discovered this in the attic while sorting through things. It has always belonged to you. The attachment reveals my childhood dollhouse, the singular possession that I cherished during my upbringing. Below it lies the deed transfer paperwork, officially designating it as my own. Later, after everyone has departed and Elliot assists with the last of the dishes, I step onto my balcony. The expanse of San Francisco Bay unfolds before me, with the lights from the bridges shimmering upon the dark waters. The buildings I contributed to designing stand in stark relief against the nocturnal sky. Worth is not something accrued through utility, I murmur to the city lights. It is asserted through an understanding of one's limits of acceptance. Elliot joins me, enveloping me in a blanket against the December cold. Contemplating deep matters, he inquires. Simply feeling grateful, I reply, leaning into his warmth. At times, the most profound gift is the acknowledgement of what one will no longer tolerate.